Report Network has a new and exclusive line of clothing. First up, the Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats. Meticulously crafted for the yoga studio, the gym, and beyond, blending style, comfort, and the heart of a champion. Wear your passion, embody sustainability, and elevate your practice. Join the league of athletes who wear their values as proudly as their belts. It's more than clothing, it's a way of life. Ringside Report Network, where champions dress for success, sustainability, and the spirit of the sport.
Attention to all professional wrestling fans and followers of the legendary Johnny Genesis North. We are releasing a must-have collection of Johnny North merchandise in our store at merch.ringsidereport.net, starting with our limited edition Johnny Genesis North 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. With a unique design capturing Johnny in action, this tee exudes raw energy and intensity through its versatile 3/4 sleeves for any weather. Stand with our legendary co-host, Johnny North. Make a bold statement in the wrestling community by getting yours today, exclusively at merch.ringsidereport.net.
Get ready to amp up your betting game with Ringside Report Network's latest knockout offer. We've teamed up with our pals at Bet99.com to bring you something that will shake up the betting world. Dave's Picks with boosted odds. Here's the lowdown. Normally you see odds like -200 over at Bet99, right? Picture this. We hit up our buddies at Bet99 and worked out some magic. Suddenly those odds? They're looking a whole lot sweeter at -150. That's right, and we're all about getting you those exclusive, juiced-up odds, only for the Ringside Report universe. So here's the game plan. We dish out the picks, and you keep those eyes peeled. You might see a number on Bet99, but hold up. Wait until Saturday morning rolls around. Thanks to those boosted odds we've snagged for you, those numbers will look much better. I'm all for Bet99 doing great, but let's not kid ourselves. We want to win big too. It's all in good fun, and hey, it's part of the thrill of the game. They're in on it, and we're in on it. It's all about having a blast while pocketing some extra cash. Ready to take advantage of those boosted odds? Go to the special Ringside Report Bet99 link on your screen. We're all about seeing how much we can boost the odds for you, our loyal viewers. And a huge thank you to Bet99 for their support of the Ringside Report Network.
Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight we preview UFC 302, Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev for the UFC lightweight title. Let's get to the fight.
Let's go!
Oh my goodness, I know we're going to have some controversy tonight. The boys are in. The boys are connected. Freddie's always sharp, looking good. Fred, you doing well?
Am I on?
Great.
Yeah. AJ, you are on. Look at you. You're not even glitchy like last week. You're looking good. You're looking clear.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yes.
So far, so good, man.
I'm very happy about that, AJ.
Was pissed last week.
Yes, it was rough, AJ, but I'm very happy that you are here with us tonight because this is a night where we need AJ, not only because we're previewing UFC 302, but we have some late-breaking news here, AJ.
What?
And I know you're going to get very excited about this, okay?
Pamela Anderson's coming to studio on Saturday?
No. So AJ is always talking about one thing in MMA and one thing only. AJ, tell me what you think this is.
Let's see this. What the hell?
Does it start with T? Does it start with S and end with an H?
Damn right it is, man.
Is that what you would say?
I would say that is Staph. Yes. I could see by the width of it there and the redness in the circle. Oof. Whose leg is that?
Well,
and he's got it more than once. You know that, eh? I can see like the Staph scars, man. Whoever it is not showering. That's the problem. His sparring partners are not showering. What the hell is the matter with that?
So AJ, that is the leg in a recently taken photo, a photo taken this week to promote UFC 302. That is the leg of the current UFC lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev.
Whoa, that's not good, man. That's this week.
I mean, that looks under control still.
He's on antibiotics, Freddie. That's the problem.
Did you see his color at the press conference? Did he look
no, I didn't.
A little, I don't know. He
yellow?
Yeah.
He did? Oof.
Yeah. Now, is that a sign of Staph? Okay, is that a sign of Staph looking yellow? Because I looked at him, I'm like, he looks a little like, what do you call it? Babies get it sometimes, you know? They look jaundice. He looked jaundice a little bit, and I was like, man, is that the weight cut? Is he okay? At the press conference that just happened a couple hours ago, Islam looked a little yellow. And now that you're telling me that's a symptom of Staph, and people are saying he's got Staph, that picture, by the way, is on Conor McGregor's Twitter because he's saying that Islam has Staph. Islam saying, don't worry, guys, I'm 100%, but that's what he would say. So if you're telling me that yellow is a sign of Staph, and of course that thing on the leg you identified immediately as Staph, as our other internet detectives quick to jump to Staph conclusions, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder about the health of the UFC champion going into the fight here against Dustin Poirier on Saturday night. Fred?
Look, man, I want to tell you something. He had one on his foot, too, if you noticed.
I don't know. There was a little something on the foot. But, Fred, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about all this happenings?
Well, I mean, I saw it pass. I think there was one also about on his arm or shoulder, something like that he had also. But I don't know. It looks kind of under control. I don't know. I think it looks under control. I'm not sure about how much the antibiotics will affect him. He'll be good on fight night. He's been training hard.
Well,
he's ready. He's got
problem.
this.
When you got Staph, man, you need rest. You can't be training. Let me tell you. That's what concerns me, man. Like, if that was a picture from, like, a month ago, I'd be like, okay. But if it's from this week, and to be honest, man, I've been, like, behind the step on news. I didn't see the press conference. I didn't see that picture. And now that changes my whole, like, game for tonight. Like, with all my stats and everything, I was prepared. Like, honestly, that concerns me. And I'll be honest that I see it on the shin, which is a major factor. You know, his leg doesn't look that conditioned, to be honest. I mean, it looked like there was something on his foot. I don't see everything else. If Fred said there was stuff on his back, I mean, that's the problem. When you're antibiotics and everything, I mean, your liver is compromised. That's why he's got that jaundice look. that I haven't seen. But if Dave says he looks a little yellow, that's the liver. Now, that's the problem. If his liver is compromised and Poirier wants to go with some heavy body shots, attack the liver, he's going to go down. I guarantee you. That's scary, man. Man, that changes everything for me.
I don't know.
It does.
I want to find a picture of Islam maybe at the press conference.
Do you have a picture of his? Do you have a picture of his body where Fred said?
I don't have that, but I do have a picture of Islam from the press conference today. And his skin tone is a little, I don't know if you could see it there, but in comparison to the other guys, he looked yellowish, which is not a good sign.
Pale, man.
Yeah.
No, he looks like somebody that's fighting like a fucking cold or something. Like he doesn't look healthy. Oh.
And, a lot of people were picking Benoit Saint Denis. What just happened, AJ?
No, I'll be
I don't know.
right back.
His lighting went weird all of a sudden.
It's okay. It's okay. AJ is good. AJ is good.
A lot of people were picking Benoit Saint Denis to beat Dustin Poirier. Benoit Saint Denis came through with a big old staph infection and didn't do so well and wound up losing pretty one-sidedly to Dustin Poirier. Now, we have the fight with Islam Makhachev. Everybody's picking Islam. Islam is a big favorite. Fred seems still confident in Islam. Islam minus 550 the favorite at bet99.com. Poirier plus 450 the underdog. But I don't know, Fred. I feel a little crazy for saying it.
Bonjour.
And I'll probably be wrong because Vegas odds are on Islam, and that makes a ton of sense. Logically, he should win. But this is fighting. Weird things happen, and I just have a feeling that it's going to be Dustin Poirier's night. I think Dustin Poirier takes it. I think Dustin Poirier is going to beat Islam Makhachev. I think he's going to shock the world. It's going to be an incredible moment. Every UFC pay-per-view, we see something crazy happen that we didn't expect. And I think Dustin Poirier beating Islam, knocking him out, beating him however he does. I'm not even sure he knocks him out. I don't know how he's going to do it. I think it's going to be a knockout. But, it could go to a decision. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think Dustin Poirier is going to beat Islam on Saturday, which seems crazy. But I was feeling a Dustin Poirier upset before I heard about any of this staph infection business. Now that I'm seeing the leg, now that I'm seeing his face, now that I'm hearing from my trusted medical doctor, AJ DeLesio,
staph expert,
I'm starting to feel like Dustin Poirier has an even better shot of winning this fight. You can't count out Dustin Poirier. I think he's a superior boxer. I think everyone would agree he's a superior boxer, striker than Islam Makhachev. He doesn't want to get taken down. He's got to avoid the clinch. He's got to avoid, losing that wrist control. He's got to hand fight. He's got to defend. He's got to stay away. He's got to stick and move. But if he puts one on his chin, he can hurt him. He can put him in a world that he's not comfortable in, and then all of a sudden he puts a couple more on, and the fight's over. Dustin Poirier has that ability, and I think he's going to pull it off on Saturday. If he does, maybe he retires as champion. Maybe he keeps going. I don't know. I think there are a lot of options for Dustin Poirier if he wins. I think if he loses, he still has options in the fight game, but obviously you have more options if you win. I'm feeling an upset on Saturday. And even I'm questioning myself, but I'm picking Dustin Poirier to win on Saturday night. I think he's going to win. Why not?
I hope you're right, man.
I love Dustin Poirier. But you're right about one thing. He's been already knocked out before. That's the one thing with Islam. He got knocked out back in 2015 against Adriano Martins. And before the show, me and Dave were talking, Freddie, you missed out. But I'm saying it's possible to knock Islam out. It's been done. You've got like Poirier, who's a southpaw, who's going to come in and he's going to really use that jab like he did to Conor. And you know what? He took Conor out twice. To me, well, that was a huge upset the first time and the second time. But that's the thing with Poirier. He has that magic. And if he's able to utilize it and really understand now that he has a target. And I'm just saying is that he looks compromised, man. He looks a little jaundiced. He looks a little tired. And if he can attack that liver, man, he's going to take out Islam. I don't think it's going to go to distance. If he can beat down the body, he's going to win. I mean, this changes my whole game tonight. I'll be honest. I didn't know nothing about that. I came in just with everything that I had from a couple of weeks back, that Islam is going to maul him. Like, if you look at all the stats, you know, when Makhachev gets takedowns, he's accurate by 60%. Poirier's defense on takedowns is only 63%. So it looks like a high number, but it's not enough against a guy like Islam. The thing is that if Islam is able to still get him to the ground, chances are he can submit Poirier. But I don't think he's going to have the stamina to go. If this was a 3-round fight, maybe. But going into a 5-round fight with a very, very conditioned Poirier, who's only 3 years younger than Islam. He's not that much older when you think about it. He's only 3 years. That's absolutely nothing. You're going up against Poirier. You got to be in your top form, man. If you're not up in your top form against a guy like Dustin Poirier, man, who has worked his way up to the ranks, and he's a real bona fide champion, in my opinion, you're in a world of trouble. And I really, man, I can't believe this. I had everything circled on Islam, but after watching what I saw from Dave, my bet is gone.
Whoa.
I really think Dustin Poirier is going to end up beating this guy on Saturday night based on the fact that he's going to lose to Staph. Everybody loses to Staph at some point. But this thing is not good when you're going into a 5-round fight. I can't believe it, man. I had all my stats and everything. It's done.
Wow.
If I listen to Conor McGregor, this is not the first time that his team has had Staph. So that Islam's team has had Staph.
No,
so
but not going into
I'm gonna still go with Islam Makhachev, and you see, Dave, I agree that Poirier is the better striker, but I think Islam's wrestling is gonna change like the striking battle, where Islam is probably gonna be pushing a lot, and I'm not sure Poirier is gonna be able to get comfortable to really strike the way he wants. He's gonna have to fight those takedowns. And I like that stat that AJ said, like 60-something% takedown defense. Sounds good.
63.
That's against everybody. So Islam is the elite. So I don't expect them to hit 63 against Islam. So I think Islam's gonna get those takedowns. He's gonna get some ground and pound. I'm gonna go with a ground and pound finish, TKO. Could be a submission also, but I got Islam Makhachev. And I'll tell you what, if I'm wrong, I'll be happy, because Dustin Poirier is a great story, and it would be great to see him get that title. But hey, sometimes, you know, you're like Uriah. There's nothing wrong to being Uriah Faber or whatever. Some guys don't get that UFC title, so that might be the case for Dustin here.
It might be.
And you know what? If you look at his last win,
what?
But if you look at his last win, when he won against Benoit Saint Denis, I didn't go with Poirier because Benoit Saint Denis was really like the shark in that tank. I was so impressed the way Dustin Poirier handled Benoit Saint Denis. And that's no joke. That's one tough dude that is so well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, Islam doesn't have the striking capabilities like a Benoit Saint Denis. But Poirier, man, was impressive. And that's the thing. He's only 2-2 right now since his wins over Conor in 2021. But that's the thing with Dustin Poirier, man. If you're not on the top of your game against a guy like Hot Sauce, you're going to be off sauce.
Wow. I am really shocked. This may be history of Ringside Report MMA. I don't know if I've ever convinced AJ to change his mind on anything.
You did, Dave. That really took me, honestly.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
No, not to that. Listen, man, if you look at my paperwork here, I got all kinds of paperwork here. I have everything written down for Islam to win. And I'm like with Freddie, there's everything that points that Islam should win this fight. But I know, man, that doesn't look good. And the problem is that you're going into 5 rounds, man. If his liver's compromised and all that, that will change the game, man. That will change that fight. I know that Conor said a lot of his teammates have had Staph. Absolutely. We all, everybody gets Staph. But there's a difference when it's leading up to title defense, man. A five-round fight against Dustin Poirier. Listen, let's be honest. Islam's going up against some real dangerous dude.
Mm-hmm. That's
I don't know, man.
He's
it
real dangerous, and
if
he doesn't have the gas to really push for those takedowns, and they start getting defended a little bit, like, he's gonna find himself in trouble. I think he's going into this fight compromised. I think he was going into this fight underestimating Poirier. And now he's going to find himself in a little bit of trouble. Now, he could win this fight. I think if he does win this fight, Islam wins by submission. I think most likely if he's going to get Dustin Poirier, he's going to take him down, get to his back, and get that rear naked choke. I think that if Islam wins, it's going to be by a rear naked choke or maybe a head and arm. Islam has a really nice head and arm choke. Like, I think Islam will strangle Dustin.
Choke, yeah.
I think the choke is what's going to happen there for Islam for a victory there. I think a victory for Dustin is probably a knockout. I think either way we're going to see a finish in this fight. But, hey, man, we've gone into UFC fights thinking there's definitely going to be a finish, and it goes the distance, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy, and you don't know who won at the end of it, right? It could be one of those. I think anything can happen in this fight. I think there's a lot of variables, a lot of factors going into it, and I think that at plus 450 for Dustin Poirier, like a plus 450 underdog,
man,
I think you got to take a look at Dustin Poirier. I think he's definitely worth putting a couple bucks on at plus 450 because I don't think he's that big of an underdog if you really look at what's going on in this fight. I think that if you look at it on paper, record-wise, Dustin Poirier is 39-1. I think 38-1. Hold on, let me give you his official record because I think this is either his 40th or 41st professional fight, and I want to get that right. No, this will be 40. This will be number 40. He's got 30 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest. So 39 pro fights. This will be fight number 40 at just 35 years of age. He's going to have his 40th pro MMA fight. Islam is 32. This will be fight number 27 for the reigning defending champion out of Dagestan, Team Khabib, Team AKA.
Man, you know what? This made it so much more exciting for me to watch this fight now because, like, right now I'm pumped to see this fight. I mean, everything points that Islam should win, but now the game has changed, man. Just from what I've seen, I'm looking forward to see this fight, and you know what? If Dustin could pull it off, man, walk away as a champion, maybe have like a title defense. I mean, he's at the point where he could retire, man. I mean, the fight numbers are there. He has a successful business. He does so much, and I love Dustin Poirier. Like I said, I was watching him.
Hang on, AJ.
When he was fighting in the backwoods of Louisiana.
Hang on, AJ. Yeah, I get it. Backwoods. You're gonna talk about the old times that you don't live in Louisiana, but that's okay. But I don't want to talk about retirement for Dustin Poirier. I think if he loses, fine. If he wins, though, he might want to stick around because at the end of the month, there's a guy named Conor McGregor fighting, and he's going to fight Michael Chandler. And now this is stars aligning for the UFC quite perfectly, if Poirier and McGregor can both walk out of the month of June with victories, you line up a super fight between Poirier and McGregor for the UFC lightweight championship. And if you're Dustin Poirier, how do you walk away from that? So I wouldn't retire right away, win the belt. Like, if he wins the belt, I would, say, okay, I'm going to think about it. We'll see. Because I would wait to see what happens with Chandler and McGregor, because I'm pretty sure Conor would want to get revenge on Dustin and get a shot at the championship. And Conor also knows that he's beaten Dustin before, so he's got that going for him. He's also lost to Dustin twice. There's a lot of history there. A fourth fight between those two for the belt would sell a ton of pay-per-views. I think the UFC would be interested. I think Conor would be interested. I think Dustin should be interested. So if he wins, I don't think he retires. I don't think he should retire because he'd be leaving a lot of money potentially on the table. If he loses, sure, retire. If Islam wins, if Islam beats Dustin Poirier, submits him, chokes him in the second round. Arman Tsarukyan, I guess, is next.
Okay.
UFC didn't seem that excited about making that fight. They're like, anybody but Arman Tsarukyan, because I don't think we can sell that on pay-per-view.
I mean, you put it with something else, you don't put it alone. But I mean, if Islam beats Poirier, man, Islam's stock has to be worth a little bit. He might not be a big draw because he doesn't speak English much and all that, so that might come into play. But if he beats Poirier, I mean, Islam is starting to be a star, so he should be able to headline a pay-per-view by himself. I feel that he's there.
Yeah, especially if you have Khabib in the corner and all that, it definitely brings up his value. There's no doubt about it. But he's got to win on Saturday, Fred.
Yeah,
and,
he's gonna win.
I'm a little concerned. He's got to win. He's got to win. But
I'm not.
He's got a couple of X's on him,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was really thinking Islam Makhachev was gonna win this whole build since the fight was announced, and then this week. Just some of the things that Islam was saying, I didn't like. Like Islam was saying, oh, I don't think Dustin should retire after the fight. He's one of the top 5 fighters in the division. He's still really good. He shouldn't retire. And I'm like, to me, if I'm going to fight a guy, and Islam's been real cocky leading up to this. To me, if I'm going to fight somebody and they're talking about retirement, I go, yeah, retire. You suck, I'm going to beat you, you should retire. You're never going to beat me, retire. But that's not what he's saying. He's like, oh, you shouldn't retire. And to me, if I got Staph and I'm coming in compromised, I'm telling the guy that might beat me, yo, don't retire because I'm going to need the rematch. So him saying don't retire Dustin, just because his stance on Dustin has been so dismissive in every other interview I saw, the fact that he kind of changed his tune closer to the fight made me think, yo, what happened? What changed? It just made me doubt things because he seemed like he was doubting things a little bit. Like, why would he care if Dustin retires? Unless he thinks he might not get it done on Saturday and he's going to need another shot.
Maybe he's just respectful. He's just a little bit respectful.
But Fred, why would he be respectful now? You know what I mean? Like, why is he changing his tune? He's been so disrespectful in every other interview we've seen to the point where I said, is he taking this guy seriously? And now all of a sudden he's like, oh, he shouldn't retire. He's one of the best in the world, one of the best in the division. Since when, dude?
I think Islam is pretty confident. I think Islam right now is pretty confident, and he would show this confidence against anybody. And at the same time, he still respects Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier has done a lot for the sport, a lot of great fights and all. So he's telling him, don't retire, keep on fighting. But yeah, Islam is focused on himself, and he's going to be cocky, man. Every champion's a little cocky.
Do you think he has Staph? Maybe.
I don't care.
People have won with Staph. People have won on antibiotics with a Staph infection. It's happened. It's not like you have Staph you can't win, but it doesn't help.
Who? I can't think of a fight where it was fighting for the title, and he had that massive growth of
I don't have a database of Staph infected fighters that won, but I'm sure it's happened before.
Yeah, I think it's happened before, AJ. And you say everybody has Staph. Like, you see a pimple on a guy's back, you're like, Staph. It's like, dude, it's not.
I know, man. I get a pimple on my ass. I think that right away. But I'm going to tell you something.
You haven't rolled in a month, and you're like, what the hell?
I got Staph. But I'm going to tell you.
You get Staph just hanging out in your house. It's not a good sign.
You could, man. That's why you got to, wash down and, you got to disinfect, man. No joking around. Once you get Staph, that's the thing. I don't understand why these guys at such high level of, professional athletes, training, man, this is when you got to be as clean as possible to avoid this shit. I don't understand what these guys, man. I know they're training a lot, but fucking wipe down the mats, take your showers, make sure your training partners are clean so that you don't get staffed. Because to be honest, this is enough for me just to see what I saw, and the way he looked was enough for me to change completely my direction of where I was going to go with tonight. Like,
wow.
And I didn't want to go against Islam, but man, I don't think he's going to have the energy to be able to control Dustin Poirier as a southpaw if he unloads and unleashes. And if he targets that liver, man, Islam will go down. And if he doesn't go down, he's going to try to survive 5 rounds where Dustin will take it as a decision. But I think Dustin has it in him to probably hurt this guy and take him out. You know,
well, I can't believe it. I can't believe I have changed your mind, AJ. Johnny North says Dave has created Staffgate. And he also says if AJ loses, he'll have Dave to blame. Yeah, don't you do that. Don't blame me if Poirier loses. Oh, I was going to pick Islam. Like, AJ's always riding the fence so he can claim victory no matter what. It's like, you don't say no to
drugs. Dave just made me, like, go in that direction. Say no. Okay, maybe. No, but
you can't blame me for giving you drugs. I'm not even with you in the same room. It's impossible. I wish I could get drugs that way through the internet.
Just his look, like, I got to see the conference just to see, like, you know, how he's talking. But I don't like the fact that he's kind of, like, being very nice. It's almost like a way to, like, you know, like you said, kind of buffer the fact that he's not feeling at 100%. That's the problem. If Islam is not feeling 100%, you're going up against Dustin Poirier, man. You're not going up against some, like, you know, walking punching bag. That's the problem. It's going to be a tough Saturday night, man, for Islam, I think.
It's going to be an interesting fight.
Just wash, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this one. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Co-main event is a good one, too. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa.
Oof. My 2 favorite guys.
It's pretty good.
Paulo. He does so many commercials now for, like, hair transplant. Did you see that?
No. Paulo plus laughing. 200, the underdog. Sean Strickland minus 245, the favorite. Strickland coming off a very close title fight with Dricus du Plessis, where Strickland lost the championship in a very, very close and controversial split decision. Now he comes back in a co-main event against Paulo Costa. Costa coming off a not controversial unanimous decision loss to Robert Whittaker last time out. Yeah, I think Strickland is going to be too much for Paulo Costa. Costa has the power, but Strickland is going to be right in his face. I think he's going to gas Costa out pretty quick. Costa won't be able to match the pace of Sean Strickland. Strickland is straightforward. Strickland said it, though. You know, the only way Costa beats him is if he lands a big, heavy, lucky shot, which I think is a solid point. He's got a puncher's chance. He does hit hard. He could land that perfect shot on Strickland. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Strickland is just too seasoned, too prepared, too skilled at this point in time for Paulo Costa, and I think he's gonna buzzsaw through him. Like, I think he's gonna beat up Paulo Costa. I don't think Costa's really gonna be in this fight. I think Strickland's gonna put it on him. Strickland's been used to fighting 5-round fights. This is a 3-rounder. He's gonna put the pedal to the metal. I think Strickland's gonna kick Paulo Costa's ass. He might finish him. I like Sean Strickland in a major way. He looks so good lately. He beat Adesanya, and that du Plessis fight, I think he lost, but, you know, it was very close. That's still a championship-level thing. When you lose a fight that close and you have to go on, and it's for the belt, and you're the champion, you lose a fight that close, and then you have to go on and fight in a co-main event against Paulo Costa, it just doesn't seem right. Like, that fight was so close, it's kind of like they both won in a way. But Dricus is the only one that's going to main event pay-per-views and go on with the belt. And Strickland's just another guy now on the roster. Like, he is...
I mean, he's one win away from being back.
I think you're right. I think but I mean, Dricus is probably going to fight Adesanya, like, scheduling-wise. He might have to fight a couple times before he gets another title shot, and then who knows by that point. I just think, like, I don't know, Khamzat is in the division. He's going to fight Whitaker. Khamzat might leapfrog Strickland and get the title shot first. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know, I'm not a big Strickland backer, but I do feel bad for the way this guy gets treated. And I feel like he's a star in the UFC that's not being treated like a star by the UFC for one reason or another. I mean, they probably have good reason, but
this is what I would say
know.
Is that, like, guys like Strickland, big stars, I'll put like a name of Chael Sonnen back in the days, guys that draw should have in their contract that even if they're not in the main event, they should be getting pay-per-view points. Because Sean Strickland is bringing in a lot of viewers this weekend. Like I can't quantify the number of pay-per-view buys Sean Strickland is bringing, but I'm sure he's affecting the total. Like whatever comes in, a good amount, a certain percentage is brought by Sean Strickland. So he should get the respect for that. As for the fight, I think Strickland, he's so good at deflecting shots, and Costa's not like the cleanest striker. He has a lot of power, but he's not like the sharp striker with very precise jab and all that. So I feel Strickland will be able to deflect a lot of the shots that Costa come in, and Strickland likes to fight close, and he'll be able to hurt Costa. So I'm gonna go Strickland probably by decision, because I could see Costa and him going 3 rounds. Costa just did a decision fight in his last fight, even though he got dominated. And I could see something similar to that. Sean Strickland by decision makes sense for me.
Look, man, I agree with Freddie in one thing, man. Like, star power for Strickland is there. He's kind of like the Diaz brothers. He brings eyes, man, and he has a following, a massive following. Win or lose, man, people are going to always follow Strickland, just like they do with the Diaz brothers. And you're right, man. These guys should be getting points. But the thing is that when you look at like the actual stats, if Costa is 2-3 in his last 5 fights, 2 wins coming over Luke Rockhold, which I love Luke, but he wasn't at his greatest, and Yoel Romero. That's the thing with Costa. He's wild, man. When he comes in, he's inconsistent. And then
he barely beat Rockhold. He barely beat Rockhold, who then retired from MMA and was basically retired when he fought Costa.
No, you're right. And that's where I'm getting at. That's the thing with Costa. He's wild and inconsistent, and he's going up against a guy like Strickland, who is pretty consistent. His boxing, man, is super sharp and crisp. His boxing defense is what makes Strickland's game. And that's the thing with Costa. He's like, he has to come in, throw that heavy power. But is he going to be able to go, 5 rounds? I think this is a 5-rounder. It's going to be hard, man. If he's not able to, like penetrate and break down, like, Strickland's defense, he's done. I mean, look, I don't see anybody really getting knocked out, but I see a decision win for Strickland. I think Strickland's going to be able to, like, manhandle Costa and start making him look really bad in the latter rounds. It's going to be a tough fight for Costa, but, I had a lot of confidence for him when he first came to UFC, and I still do. He's an exciting fighter, but where does he go from here, man? We'll probably see Costa going, in the future to the PFL or bare knuckles or something like that, maybe. But right now, man, Strickland is my guy. I think it's going to be a hard fight for Costa.
He's the people's champion. He's Sean Strickland. Everybody loves him. I mean, not everybody. Obviously, a lot of people don't like him. But a lot of MMA fans love Sean Strickland. I feel like people that don't really watch MMA and kind of watch it casually don't like Sean Strickland, but the hardcore MMA fans seem to really gravitate towards this guy. So he's definitely a big star in the sport. And outside of this main event, it's the Sean Strickland show. They did a press conference this afternoon, and it was Poirier, Islam, Costa, and Strickland. Nobody else on this card was at that press conference. Usually they have the 5 fights on the main card. They skipped all that. They're like, nah, we know who you want to see. You want to see Strickland. You want to see Islam, Dustin, and to a lesser extent, Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa was only on the stage because he's fighting Sean Strickland. And that's a fact, Jack. Huh?
How was his hair?
How was
his hair, man? Because if you notice one thing, in his last fights, he was receding. But now I've seen him like getting these hair treatments from like Turkey, and the guy's actually has a full mop on his head now. So that shit works, man. You got to go to Turkey to get hair transplant.
Are you thinking about it?
Listen, man, I would go. If they're going to sponsor Ringside Report, man, I'll go there and I'll fucking promote like the Fabio hairdo if they could get it up here. For sure, man. Listen, I know people in Turkey, man. If there's any Turkish hair transplant doctors that want to sponsor the show, I'll be your model. I'll be your Fabio.
Are you a big fan of the Turkish?
Do you know who Fabio is?
Anyways, we're going to move on.
I love Turkish food, man.
Of course.
I'm trying to figure out why Turkey. Like, why
I don't know why.
isn't it in
Turkey.
America?
He just keeps bringing it up.
It's the number one place for hair transplant and cosmetic surgery. You didn't know that, guys? People fly there. Nope. Actually, that's where Costa went. He flew out to Turkey to get his hair done. Check it up, man. Google it.
Well, go to Turkey, AJ. Good luck to you. Have fun.
Well, you don't need it, man. Maybe me and Freddie could use a good do.
No, I don't need it. I have hair that grows out of my head.
You and Johnny are okay, man.
Yeah.
And your brother Ben, Uncle Ben, man, he's okay. Me and Freddie.
Go catch a Fenerbahce soccer game or a Galatasaray.
Ooh,
yeah, that
Galatasaray.
Would be awesome. We can have like blood spots on our head and watch a soccer game, man. It'd be great.
I'm not sure that'd be so great.
Head.
I'm having trouble making a parlay. AJ, you have one for UFC 302?
I have one.
I do.
Freddie, give it to me.
I do.
All right, I got Jailton Almeida, Randy Brown, Sean Strickland.
Ooh, you're going with Randy Brown.
Ooh, Randy Brown over Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos and Sean Strickland. Okay, it's a 3-fight parlay from Team Fred. I like it. But the Jailton Almeida fight, Fred, I don't know. The guy he's fighting is not bad. And Jailton's coming off a knockout here.
Jailton's pretty good.
But he just got knocked out. Curtis Blades just knocked him out. I don't like that. I was going to put him on my parlay, but I lost confidence in Jailton.
Don't put it.
When was that Curtis Blades fight? I'm trying to show your parlay. It's not working. Having trouble here with this stupid thing.
Thank God it's not me.
Yeah, no, it's actually not me, but hold on. Let me get you Fred's parlay. So it is, where the hell is this thing on this goddamn thing?
Jailton versus Blades was in March.
March
9th.
That's not a long time between fights when you just got knocked unconscious. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
he has
Jailton
wins
in that
over
fight.
Derek Lewis and Jairzinho, man.
Yeah, but
and he knocked out Muslim Salikov, man. You know, just recently. Oh, you're talking about Jailton. Sorry, I was talking about Randy Brown. What did he do, Randy?
I don't know about Jailton, but Romanov is legit. He just beat Blagoy. He's a very good wrestler.
I think if you have to look at like everything on paper, man, I agree with Freddie. Jailton is the pick. He's faster, better striking. You know, the only thing is that if he survives the first round from this guy, he's going to be able to.
I mean, Romanov lost to Tibura, man. Jailton's way better than
that's true.
Tibura.
You got a point there, Fred.
Hey, Dave, here's my parlay. On the prelims, I pick every underdog to win.
That's right.
That's AI, AJ.
AI.
Is Jailton better than Tibura? I don't know about that.
Yes.
I think Jailton, I think you're putting too much stock in the wins over Derek Lewis and Jairzinho. I think stylistically those are good fights for him.
Man.
Those are stylistic matchups for him that make sense. This is a different fight. Whatever. You could pick him and put him in your parlay. I'm just not putting him in mine. And I'm not sure about that fight. Randy Brown, Jailton Almeida, and Sean Strickland is a Team Fred parlay. 20. Boom. There it is. Give it to me.
And I just want to say, AJ, like, surprised by my Randy Brown pick. I think I'm a Randy Brown fan, man. The guy's a good fighter. He's an exciting fighter, and he puts a lot of wins still. He wins a lot of his fights, so I'm pretty confident in Randy Brown.
Look, he won against Salikov in his last fight, you know?
I think Brown wins that fight, too.
Man.
I like Brown.
Away on that one.
So, Jelton Almeida.
He's 6-1 in his last 7.
Yeah. Who's it lost to?
To De La Madalena.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
JDM.
No, Randy Brown's for sure winning this fight. Minus 175, I think, is good value, too. I might throw Brown on my parlay. 20 gets you 59.01 with the Team Fred parlay. Plus 195. Almeida, Strickland, and Brown. AJ, what do you have?
I'm going with the dog on that one, but I'm going to, well, my whole game's changed, but I'm going with Dustin Poirier for the win.
Whoa. Throwing that in a parlay is going to get real spicy.
It's going to get crazy, man. Sean Strickland for the win.
Yeah.
Then I've got Kevin Holland for the win.
Yeah, I think he takes that.
I'm going to go with Freddie. I'm going to go with Freddie with the Jelton Almeida. I think he's going to do it. The Randy Brown Dos Santos, man, that's the only one that nerves me out. Like everything's showing me go with the dog, man, on this. You know, the guy could go 3 rounds, full force. He's the type of guy that could put Brown in trouble. But again, man, this is an either or. It's a tough one. That's why I'm going to skip that, and I'm going straight to Roman Kopylov. Man, that Roman, man, that guy always impresses me. Every time I see him fight, he impresses me. Yeah, he lost his last fight there, but hey, it was just a weird fight for him.
The guy he's fighting is undefeated 5-0, Cesar Almeida.
Yeah, he's a good striker.
Yeah, and he is the favorite going into this as well. So you kind of mixed it around there with some prelims and some main card stuff. Are you sure about this? This is your 4-fight parlay? Or 5-fight?
Yep.
But you didn't pick a Morono winner? Morono and Price. That was on the main card. You didn't even go with it. That's okay.
With the Nico Price. I didn't even go with that one. That's another one where I'm like, it could go either or. It's a tough one. And Nico Price always impresses me, man. But 15-7, Alex Morono, 24-9. It's a tough one, man. I'm trying to be as logical as I can.
I don't like the odds on that one because I think Morono will win, but Nico Price has a shot in that fight, and I feel Morono's a pretty big favorite, so I stayed away from it.
And Nico Price, man, he always impresses me every time he fights, but...
All right, AJ. Here's your parlay. Jelton Almeida, Sean Strickland, Dustin Poirier, Kevin Holland, and Roman Kopylov. 20 gets you $555.50 over at bet99.com.
Wow, I like that, man. I like that.
It's a big parlay. Kopylov, Holland, Poirier, Strickland, and Almeida. It's a 5-fight parlay. Plus 2,677 at bet99.com. Unbelievable. What a parlay from Big AJ. Okay, I got to do one here for you. And as you could tell, I'm not really about the parlays on this card. I'm more about the single bets. I think there's some good underdogs to pick, like Dustin Poirier. And even if you want to make it real interesting, you can go with Poirier by knockout, which I think is going to bring you some serious cash. Let me take a look at Poirier by knockout here.
Show me the money.
Dustin Poirier by knockout, plus 800. So 20 on that gets you 160. Poirier by knockout. It's pretty good. Plus 800. Dustin Poirier by knockout. I think that's good. I think you can also go with Dustin Poirier just to win straight up at plus 450. AJ's got to go. Something's happening. He'll be back. But as far as a parlay, like, I don't know. I'm going to go with Strickland. I'm going to throw him in my parlay. I like Randy Brown as well. Fred, you convinced me more. I thought he would win, but just your take on it, all the numbers you presented, convinced me even more to go with Randy Brown in my parlay. And I'm struggling to find another one. I want to throw another one in there, but I don't think I have it. Let's just stick with that. I think that's going to be a winning parlay. Give me a 2-fight parlay. Let's keep it real simple. Real simple. We're doubling our money. We're keeping it simple. It's a Team Dave UFC 302 parlay. 302. Sean Strickland minus 245. Randy Brown minus 175. 20 gets you 44.26 over at bet99.com. It's a very simple 2-fight parlay from Team Dave. I'm keeping it real simple. I don't love the parlay action on this. I don't think there's a ton of value in some of these favorites. I do like Poirier as an underdog. I do like Poirier by knockout.
I like your parlay because I feel very confident in Strickland and in Randy Brown. So just parlay them together.
That's
it. I mean, in single bets, they don't pay much. If you parlay them, you double your money.
Yeah, and that's really what you should be doing with parlays, I think, is just kind of taking some bets that aren't really worth it on their own, but grouping them together and then making them worth it. So I think Strickland and Brown is where I'm going to go with my parlay. And again, like I said, Dustin Poirier plus 450, Dustin Poirier by knockout plus 800. I think those are good bets. I think you could also go with Jocelyn Edwards plus 155 over Ailin Perez minus 180. Women's MMA, there's one fight on the card, and I'm going with the underdog, so you know that's good. Jocelyn Edwards, Ailin Perez, I think this is going to be a mostly stand-up fight, and Edwards has a height and reach advantage. She also has a bit of the experience advantage. I think Edwards pulls this one off by decision. I'm going to go with Jocelyn Edwards plus 155, the underdog, second fight of the night on the prelims. You know I had to give you a women's MMA underdog on this one, right? Those are the ones I love. I gave you Vanessa Demopoulos a couple weeks ago. That one cashed in. She was a pretty big underdog, too, like plus 230, 240, something like that. It's good.
Mickey Gall's there, too, in the early prelims, you know. It's interesting, man.
Mickey Gall plus 290. He's going to lose. The only guy he's ever beat is CM Punk, and that's not that impressive. Okay. UFC 302. We will be here forever and ever. No, we'll be here on Saturday for UFC 302. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to do the live watch-along for UFC 302. We'll watch the fights here with you on Saturday night at 10 p.m. when the pay-per-view starts. Our show starts, and we'll be watching all of that with you, giving you the breakdown of the action and keeping you up to date and keeping you entertained and all of that. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday night. Just before we go, though, I wanted to throw a bit of news out there. Nick Diaz is coming back to fight in the UFC. He will be fighting Vicente Luque on August 3rd, and it'll air live on ABC. It'll be in Abu Dhabi. Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov announced as the main event in a title eliminator. And Vicente Luque versus Nick Diaz in a 5-round co-main event. Luque coming off a TKO loss to Joaquin Buckley back in March of this year. Nick Diaz coming off a TKO loss to Robbie Lawler in September of 2021. Nick is 40. He'll be 41 when this fight happens. Actually, his birthday's August 2nd, and the fight is August 3rd. So Nick Diaz will be 41, freshly 41, when he fights the still top prospect at welterweight, 32-year-old Vicente Luque. Does this seem weird to anybody else? Is this just me? Why are they doing this to Nick Diaz?
Why?
I mean, who you want him to fight, man? There's not a lot of options.
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
He's on the card.
That could have been. Yeah, that could have been a real good money fight.
Tony Ferguson is on the card fighting Michael Chiesa. I guess we already saw Tony Ferguson get beat up by a Diaz brother when he lost to Nate, like, not long ago. Maybe they didn't want to do it again, but, like, I don't know. It seems rough for Nick to be fighting Vicente Luque instead of a guy like maybe even Michael Chiesa or Tony Ferguson. Like, Chiesa's ranked in the top 10, maybe top 5 in the UFC's division right now, and Nick Diaz is, not really active. It's a weird matchup, but I'm happy to see Nick Diaz fight again. This card looking really good for Abu Dhabi. Sanhagen and Umar, Vicente Luque, Nick Diaz, Marlon Vera, and Davison Figueiredo. That's a good fight. Mackenzie Dern and Lupe Godinez, AJ. Get ready for that. AJ? Mackenzie Dern. She's fighting against Lupe Godinez and Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa. It's August 3rd, UFC on ABC. So the return. What the hell just happened?
What the hell happened? Lights out, man. In Montreal.
What happened?
Can you hear us? I don't know, man.
Why did we just go dark?
The hackers are back. That's what she said. It always happens in the dark.
What just happened?
I don't know,
I don't know, but
that's gonna be the way. Show's over, man. I just saw Angelo's comment. Show's
there
over.
we are.
Here we're back. This is like getting knocked out. That's exactly like getting choked out in jiu-jitsu or getting knocked out. That was a really good effect. It goes dark, and then you open up your eyes and you think you're right off where you left off, but in fact you've been snoring. But yeah, man. I'm telling you, the hackers are there. You didn't believe me, eh? You didn't believe AJ. I'm telling you.
That was weird. That was a weird one. I don't know what just happened there.
Did you pay your bills?
Yeah, that's not how that works. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. He says, I think I will take Edwards and Poirier. Oh.
That's a good one.
Ooh, Patrick going with some of Dave's underdog picks. He's going with a Dave underdog parlay special. What does that pay out? Poirier and Edwards, or maybe just a single bets. A parlay on that would be probably pretty big too, but single bets I think is the move. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat, the 777. Thank you, Patrick. And Leor says, looking forward to UFC this weekend. Thanks for the preview, boys. Thank you, Leor. We will see you this weekend. Thank you for all the supporters like Patrick C. Hamilton, Leor, Angelo Contagonis, everybody who supports over at join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net is how you support on YouTube, and membership.ringsidereport.net is how you support in general. So however you do it, we appreciate all the members, all the supporters over at membership.ringsidereport.net and join.ringsidereport.net. Of course, go to our official website with all sorts of exclusive content. You'll see all sorts of content, written content, video content about this show and other shows over at ringsidereport.net. Go to our website, ringsidereport.net. I'll be back here tomorrow night with Johnny North talking all things professional wrestling. A lot of news in AEW and the WWE that we will get to tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Ringside Report Network. And then, of course, don't forget, UFC 302 Watch-Along Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again.